and being a part of it. So with no further ado, I'm actually going to introduce the queen of dope, the founder of I'm Really Dope, Miss Tiffany Robinson.
Doesn't mean you're alive. Don't worry about me and who I fire. I get what I desire. It's my empire. And yes, I call shots. I am the umpire. I sprinkle holy water upon the vampire.
It's Sunday. You know my mom is here. Can't do too much of that. Thank you so much for coming. I'm not going to speak too long. But come here, Kayla. This is my baby here.
Oh, hi, Kayla.
But I'm so happy that you all could be here, you know, for her. And because I did this for her, she's the reason why I created I'm Really Dope. Because by watching her, she was just so strong with everything. Like, I would go to the hospital and see her, and every time she was in pain, she would start singing Amazing Grace, and she would smile through it all. And I would look at her and be like, well, I'm going through some things, but I ain't handling it right. So how can I not handle it right? And she's handling like the biggest fight in anybody's life. But thank God she just started in remission because God is good. Thank God. But I just thank you all just for being here. Kaylin, I love you, baby.
We love you.
We
love
you.
So let's get started, okay? So, tell me if you agree in regards to, if this is how life works, right? And I want you to follow, the orange arrow right now. It says in the early years you don't have money. Now, generally speaking, that's the age group where maybe you're, getting out of college, 22, 23 years old, you're working, you're just getting started in your career, or you're in your career, you're starting your family. So you either have one of these three, if not all three, going on in your life. True or not true? Okay? You have young kids. Anybody have children in here? Okay, I was going to say no joke, but it's Sunday. Right? Young children, right? Debt, college loans, credit cards, right? I remember when I was in school, they had all these promos for credit cards. Like, I remember that free toolkit and t-shirt I got with my Iona credit card, right? Okay? And then you have a mortgage. Do we have any homeowners, people on a condo and co-op? Right? So these things are very important. But as life goes by, okay, time passes, as you can see on the right side of the arrow, it says you better have money. Why? Because your kids have grown. Now they're running the cycle which you started when you came out of school. As you got older, you have low debt, your mortgage is paid off. So here's the question you want to ask in terms, let's go back to the left side. What happens if you die too soon? Do you have a plan in place that if God forbid something happens, are you properly protected? And experts recommend you want to have 8 to 10 times of your take-home income, because not only would it be an emotional devastation that, if you were to pass away prematurely, but it would also be a financial devastation. Does that make sense? Right? So how I help people in terms of protecting that, but also long-term is, what if you live too long? Right? Statistics show that, and most of the crowd is women, okay? Right? Women are 4 more times likely, okay, to outlive men. Right? And per year, on average, 700,000 women, okay, I want to get this down, 700,000 women lose their husbands each year, all right, and they outwidow their spouse by 14 years. So think about it. Do we have any nurses here? Any nurses? Okay, right? Think about it. Back then, most people retired at 62, 65, and then on average maybe lived to close to 70. Now today, more people are retiring at 60, 65, okay, living to 75, 80. Do we have anyone here with family members in their 70s? 80s? 90s? What about 100? Okay, God bless, right? Okay, so think about it. If we're not working 20, 25, 30 years, where's money going to come from? So we got to build our net worth and build assets for the future, okay? So even though we say that, here are the statistics right now in the world. The statistics are that people are not planning for their future. There's problems out there, okay? And we got to start doing the right things, and the right things how we help people is in terms of putting together a plan, and that's what basically what I do, right? It's an old cliche that most people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And the problem is that other financial companies today, folks, they don't care about you, they don't care about us. Right? They'd rather sell you a product, not provide you a solution. That's why people are stuck in the middle. And the average person does business with 5 to 20 different companies on a 1 to 3 month basis. So let me ask you a question, if you give me some feedback, okay? Do you think life insurance companies care if you pay your debt off?
No.
No, right? Someone said that was pride, okay, right? All right. Do you think credit card companies care if you save money?
Nope.
And when you go into the bank, is there anybody having that sense of urgency, showing you how to save and accumulate wealth?
Nope.
Right? Why? Because companies are focused on the 5%ers, right? Those people who have wealth. So what we do as a company is we want to help people come up with solutions. And the solution is you want to have a financial roadmap. And what that financial roadmap, what we call it is a financial GPS. It's a financial needs analysis. Right? Who here use a GPS here today? Okay, I had to use it twice. I had to turn back to my wallet, okay? Right? So we use a GPS to get somewhere, right? But we don't use a GPS for our financial future. We're always planning, to do fun things that we want to do, recreation activities. We'll take 6 months, a whole year to plan something for a whole week, but we won't take 2 to 4 hours a year to plan the most permanent vacation, which is our financial future. Does that make sense? Right? So we want to help people come up with a plan. Folks, there's a stat out there that's scary right now. And that stat is that smartmoney.com said that 95% of the people who are going to retire at age 65 are going to be dependent on the government or have to work after the age of 65. I am not excited about that. So only 5 are going to be financially okay or wealthy. Okay? And let me tell you why that's happening. Financial companies are ignoring people. The reason why I got started in Primerica, and some of you might be familiar with us, I want to let you know I wasn't too keen on starting a business, but when my trainer sat down with my parents, I grew up in the Bronx, okay, middle income, right? My dad was an engineer, made good money, we lived in a home, we didn't struggle. But when my trainer showed what we actually do, he knew nothing about investments. He knew nothing about insurance, right? And 2 weeks prior to that, we buried our uncle, okay, and he didn't have a plan in place, right? And then we had sat down with my other uncle. He didn't have a plan in place, right? And I was like, man, this is a trend, right? And that trend has got to change. Are you guys with me? Are you ladies with me? Right? Okay? So one of the things we do is, listen, we're not here to sell anybody. We want to teach, right? We want to educate. And one of the first concepts that we teach people is the rule of 72. Anybody familiar with it? Okay. Right? She knows it because she's right, whatever. Right? Okay. But Albert Einstein came up with this rule, right? All you do is you take the interest you get on your money and it lets you know how long it takes your money to double. So let's say if you had $10,000, okay? And you say, you know what, I'm not going to spend it, I'm going to put it away. So you go to the bank and the bank has a special rate at 3%. And it's not that special, okay? What's the interest rate on savings account and CDs today? 1%, 0.5, 0.00, right? Okay? Right? So if you do the math, whether you're good with math or not, 72 divided by 3 is, as you can see, is the answer is 24 if you do that on a calculator. So if you put 10 grand, you only got 3%, it would take 24 years for your money to double once. Is anybody good with math in here? Nope. What's 70? Right? Okay. What's 72 divided by 1? 72. So if you're only getting 1% in the bank, how long does it take your money to double? Is that exciting? No. Right? Our bank with TD Bank, do you know why they always give you sucker lollipops? Yeah. Right? Okay? Right? Because they suck you in to put your money in there, right? Okay? But the reason why we do that is because that's what we're taught and that's what we're accustomed to. See, we teach people about how investments work. And guys, investments, right? We don't do stocks, we do something called mutual funds, right? Mutual funds have been around for over 90 years. And when I talk to people, they have an idea of it, maybe because they have it through their job, but they don't understand how it works. But now you can see with the green, 72 divided by 12, now your money doubles every 6 years. right? So in the same 24 years, you can have 160,000 over 20 and 40,000. Who could get excited about that, right? But the reason why I find most people don't know about that, because once again, institutions are only targeting the 5%ers, right? And who are the 5%ers? Anywhere from $500,000 and up, right? Who's talking to people that only have a couple $1,000s? Who's talking to people about who only have $100 a month, right? That's what we do. So think about it. The reason why insurance and banks are successful is because they know a game that we don't know how to play, folks. And that game is the money game, right? We got to learn how to play the money game, and that's what we teach people here in Primerica. And one of the ways we teach people by paying themselves first. Does anybody in here wish $3 a day? $6 a day, right? $3 a day is $100 a month. Now the time is not important, but just $100 a month, right? Your cell phone bill is more than $100 a month, right? $100 a month over 40 years by paying yourself first is almost $500,000. $100.
Sign me up.
Right? I got my iPad, we'll do that right after, right? But here's the thing. People pay the high cost of waiting, because you know what we say? I got time, right? Okay, I know I said that early on before I saw this. Come back to me later, right? Okay. As young people say, you got to turn up, right? So now, you wait 1 year, but you lose 41,000. Heard this old quote, time waits for no man, right? But then we start thinking about, you know what we also say? Oh, when I make more money, I'll save more money. That's not true, right? So now time goes by, and time goes by, and look how much money you lost. And it goes the same thing when you plan for your kids' college education. Because guess who had to take out student loans? Anybody had to take out some student loans? Right? Okay, still paying, right? Imagine if somebody talked to your parents about putting away $100 a month. That would have paid for your school, straight off the bat, right? Do you know the average person is graduating student loans anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000, right? And folks, the reason why people don't save is because they don't know about investing. And here's the timeline of it. And I know a lot of people say, well, investments are not guaranteed, but let me tell you what is guaranteed. You put your money in the bank or in low interest accounts, guarantee your money's not going to grow. Right? If I took $100 out right now and I put it under the table, 20 years from now, that $100, okay, right, will actually be the worth of like $200 to spend what $100 does today. And think about it, every time you put your money in the bank and you make money, what does your favorite uncle like to do to you? Tax you, right? He's not your favorite uncle, right? Okay? So you're not outpacing inflation, you're paying taxes, so your money's not growing. That's guaranteed, right? But history's shown that by you investing, on average over the past 30 years, you would have averaged 11% a year. Have we gone through some crises over the past 30 years? Yes, right? Global, we just came from off one, right? Okay, March 9th, the market was at the Dow was at 6,900. Right? You remember also happened on March 9th, greatest rapper of all time. Right? So from then, right, the market has tripled. You know why we don't invest? Because the news makes us not want to because all the negative news, right? But if you stay the course, and that's where having a relationship with a financial coach, right? Somebody you can stay the course, have discipline, pay yourself first, will help and guide you to your financial future. Okay? And I got 5 minutes, I was told, so I'm going to jet through this. Another thing we help people with is debt, but I want to skip past this, right? But here's the part that we got to get better at is protecting ourselves and protecting our family. With life insurance. And unfortunately, it's a necessary evil.
No more GoFundMe.
Right? No more GoFundMe. Right? Because I don't want to bring up a sour note, but one of our reps spoke to somebody 3 weeks ago, and the person said, not yet. Actually, it wasn't even them who said not yet. It was their boyfriend who said, no, I got this. Right? And then a couple weeks later, there was a tragedy that happened on Halloween. If you heard about that, that was my rep that spoke to that person. Right? We got to take action now. Are you with me? Right? Doing the right things. And unfortunately, when people have life insurance, they have the wrong kind, which is cash value insurance. Right? Listen, I don't have time to do this justice, but bottom line is, my company shows people how to buy term life and invest the difference. Because I don't know about you, I don't want to use my life insurance. Because if I use it, I'm not here. Right? But let me tell you what I do want to invest, or what I do want to use. I want to use money. I want to build assets. I want to build net worth. Life insurance companies, ladies, teach you how to have it as a permanent need, as a crutch. So we help people once again, as you can see on the left side, they're paying almost $300 a month, but they only have $150,000 each. What is that going to do? Ladies, what is that going to do? Nothing, right? So on the right side, as you can see, we gave them almost triple the coverage, and they're paying less money, but we took that investment now, we helped them build wealth. So think about it, if John and Mary pass away, they have 2 kids and they're 65, right? Their family only gets $300,000. Can you see that cash value thing in the red? They tell you that you can save money in it. That's not your money. It's their money. Even though they tell you it's that. So 65, 300,000, but on the right side, if you pass away, you can have 1.2 million. Which one's better for your family? Right? 1.2 million. But if you live, you could walk away with $500,000. Right? So, this is who I am, this is who we are. This is what Primerica is all about. We want to come into areas and help families. Just like what I talked about. Right? This is who's backing us up. We're a publicly traded company. Right? We were just featured in the Forbes in August as one of the top 50 trustworthy companies out there.
Nice.
Right? Okay. We have 6 million clients, A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, A+ rating with AM Best, right? Almost $50 billion of clients' money, right? And if you can't get in contact with your rep, our customer service department has won Customer Service of the Year 12 years in a row. That's the company I have backing me up, and these are the support systems that we have as well, right? So, of course, I'm going to be staying for the event. If you'd like to speak to me, you can let me know. I think my cards are in the bags as well. But let's take action. Let's start doing some. Let's start getting progressive. Because as I mentioned, and I didn't get to mention this. Ladies, you ladies control $14 trillion of assets right now in the United States. Give yourselves a hand for that, right? And even though I say that, only half of the people only put money into a retirement plan. Right? 95% of women out there will and are going to control and be the main decision makers in terms of their finances. And majority of my clients are women as well. Okay? Right? So, I'm proud to be here with you. My time is done. I'm going to bring back up the hostess, but give yourselves a hand. Thank you so much.
Community work that I do is unfortunately the negative sources. So when I was in high school, one of my guidance counselors said, Makiba, let's not talk about college and let's not worry about that because you might get pregnant. You probably won't even graduate because a lot of your peers don't. I live in York, New Jersey, and unfortunately that's the negative stigma that we're associated with. So from that day that my guidance counselor told me that, I literally made it my life's mission to help inspire and motivate different people. Because I think it's important for young people to realize that you're great, even if you have an F on your report card, that you're great, even if no one wants to go out with you, because you're great. Because I have 2 parents at home that every morning told me that I was great, and every morning that I was beautiful, and that I was going to rule the world one day. So when you believe it, and when you're constantly told positive, you become positive. So that's something that young people need to be told constantly, even when they have their quote-unquote failures, which I don't believe there's no such things, but even when things don't work out your way. So that's why I aspire to do what I do for the beginning.
Awesome.
I'm behind. I don't know what I was doing when I was. See, I was acting crazy when I was your age back there. So, Janelle, you are extremely proactive in your scholastic life. A student, a director, vice president of WFIT, as well as hosting the Trap Radio Show. How do you balance school, work, and your personal life?
Well, I get this question asked to me a lot. Typical question, God. It really is God, though, because I don't know how I do it. I go to school, I do a full-time job, I have the radio show, and then I have a test in the morning, and I still manage to pass. So it's like, I don't know how I get it done, but I really try to manage my time wisely. I have great friends behind me who help me with time management as well, and I just have my family and friends in general who just help me throughout the day and remind me like, all right, you have this press event to do, but remember you have school in the morning. So, you know, that's how I really manage everything, and I'm really grateful for them and that. So, yeah.
So this next question is actually going to be for the both of them, but I also just want to remind the audience, if you have any questions yourself, you can please just line up right here. We do want to open up the floor for any questions you may have. Don't be shy. We want you to engage with our panelists, because this is what we have you here for, to ask your own questions and just, you know, make sure you engage with them. So the next question, and you're going to go first. What advice would you give someone who has great ideas but doesn't know how to get them off the ground and make them into reality?
Just do it. Just do it. Just start it. Don't think about it. You might feel like you said there's no such thing as failure, but you might not succeed the first time, but just do it again, because you never know what a great idea is until you actually try and do it yourself. And like the radio, I didn't expect it to blow up as much as I did. I just had friends who were rappers and were like, oh, can I come to your show? I'm like, yeah, cool. And then one day I did press for SOBs for Faces in the Crowd, and I never did press before, but I'm like, I have a camera and I'm gonna do it. And they loved me. They loved me. They're like, you are a great interviewer. I'm so happy I brought you on board. And after that, I just kept getting shows back to back. So don't be scared. Like, fake it till you make it. Literally, because you have to do it, because just try. And if you ever need help, let me know, let your friends know, let your family know. Just keep doing it. Just try.
I definitely have to agree with Janelle, like, just do it. And I think also to pray about it and talk to other people who's done, you know, what you're trying to do. And also, I know when trying to get your dream off the ground, you may have a lot of people who may not want to support you. But at the end of the day, you have to walk to the beat of your own drum, even if no one wants to listen. So even if you don't have not one person who's willing to back you up, you have to do it because it's God sent and it's the right thing for you to do. So I absolutely agree with you.
If I ever have daughters, yes, if I ever have daughters, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to need you guys to be life coaches. So this next question is actually for you, Makiba. You authored 2 books, Successful Leaders, How to Sell Lemonade the Professional Way. What were you looking for your readers to gain from them, and how have they also helped you in your journey?
So specifically, I didn't have an intention in being an author, but because of the negative of how like youth are portrayed in the media and how we don't get the proper representation that we deserve, and how I noticed like how, you know, when you turn on Channel 12, like, oh, these young people are killing these people, but that's not the case. You know, there's so many positive young people who are doing positive things. So the inspiration for writing my books was to help motivate and inspire and touch those young people who may need a guidance or who may need the support that they don't get. So Successful Leaders in New Jersey, I've interviewed over 1,000 people, so ranging from Senator Booker, ranging from different Congress people, as well as different franchise owners who started making literally $5,000 an hour. Now she's a multimillionaire. So to prove that it doesn't matter where what your background is, it's about your future, it's about your persistence, and how to sell lemonade the professional way. I teach a business and leadership class to students, so though I'm a college student myself, I also teach students. And my students, within 1 hour, they raised $2,000 just on selling lemonade. And why they were able to do that? Because it was their approach. They didn't just say, oh, I'm here to sell lemonade. No, we're young, we're African Americans, we're college students, and we're trying to make a difference. So that's something that I embed in my students. That's something that is in my books as well. That, again, despite where you come from, despite the advantages or disadvantages you didn't have, that you can ultimately achieve your goals.
You created a platform for up-and-coming hip-hop artists with your radio show, The Trap. What influenced this endeavor, and what makes you so passionate about it?
So what makes me very passionate about The Trap is that I founded it, and it's a platform for underground artists. I feel like a lot of underground artists aren't appreciated, and they're really one of the best. It's like basketball, it's like college ball. When you play college ball, that's where they go hard, and that's when they're trying to make it. And when you hit the NBA, it's like, my leg broke. I gotta sit down for a little bit. So I feel like underground artists, like, they're very passionate, and I see it all the time, so that's what makes me passionate about it as well. Like, I had a artist come all the way from Alabama to come on my show. I had no idea he was coming from Alabama until it was a little too late, and he was like, I want to come to New York, this is what I wanted to do. Like, that showed a lot of passion, like, that you wanted to come on my show all the way from Alabama, your first trip to New York. So the passion that I get from them, I get it as well. And what was the second part of the question again? Where did it?
Hold on, and go back to
Oh, okay.
what influenced the endeavor?
Okay, so let me see. As I was doing an interview outside, and they asked me, like, how did you get a show? So literally we started W.F.I.T. back up. That's a media organization in my school, video, radio, all that great stuff. And they said, do you want a radio show? And I'm like, yeah, I want a radio show. Like, who doesn't want a radio show? So that's how it kind of just started, and I was influenced from the artist, just from me in general, being very passionate. I look up to all these other radio personalities like Angela Lee, Angie Martinez, so much more. So that's how it all kind of got started. That's how I was influenced.
Okay, so I have one final question, and I'm going to open up the floor to the audience. And this question is actually for the both of you as well. I'm going to give it over to you first. What advisement would you offer young adults who want to follow in your footsteps?
So the advice that I would offer to young adults is A, always be persistent. And if you get a no, it doesn't mean no. It just means not at this point in time. B, there is no such thing as failure. So there is only lessons. So you learn as you grow. So sometimes, things won't work out as planned, but that's okay. Because you don't miss anything that's not for you. See, don't worry about what happened yesterday. It's about today. Because today is a new day. And I say these things because a lot of the times, a lot of people get caught up on, oh, well, like yesterday, forget yesterday. You woke up this morning, God bless you with your peace. So with that being said, when you have a dream, don't let anything, sorry, my hat fell off. But don't let anything, thank you. Don't let anybody stop your dream. Because again, you don't need anyone's gratification. That's nice that they want to support you, but you don't do it for them. You do it because it's for you. It's for the lives that you inspire. And I always like to leave my audience with a quote. So my quote is, let's turn our dreams into reality and forget the naysayers, because they'll always be there.
That's right.
So in Godspeed, thank you.
So I would say always ask for help. A lot of things with young people today, they have this pride thing about them, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Just because someone, and another thing too, just because someone else is doing something that you're doing doesn't mean that you can't do it as well. Yes, I'm talking to you. You can do it as well. There's so many makeup tutorials on YouTube, and everybody's doing it in a different way. So don't be afraid to do it just because someone else is doing it. Find your niche. And I found my niche. When I went to FIT, it's a fashion school. Who would have thought that you would have done video, radio, all these different things? But I found my niche and I ran with it because that's what I was very passionate about. And I asked for help. I didn't know how to do a lot of things that I did, but I took everything that they taught me and I worked on it. I found other things to learn as well, and just ask for help, get a mentor. I'm still trying to find one. But I am willing to be someone's mentor. So just get a mentor, ask for help, and don't be afraid to do anything. Follow your dreams.
Expound on that. Mentors have mentors, so remember, you can always be someone's mentor and still be a mentee. So just remember that. I want to open up the floor. Come on down, Miss Lena Scarborough.
Michelle, before I say anything, can we please give another round of applause for Miss Tiffany? I'm sitting down holding back tears and everything earlier, so I'm definitely, my soul feels blessed just to be here. All right, give another round of applause for yourselves for being here. The right place, the right time, the right people. Oh, yes, it's working. Okay, good. And I'd like to give a special shout out to my dad. He's in the building with me as well. I feel like not often enough we give our fathers credit. That's right. Definitely appreciate all the dads in here. All right. I'm going to be real brief with you because I only have a few minutes, but I just want to share with you a little bit of my story and how God's been able to change that around for me. I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, moved to Stamford, Connecticut, like 20 minutes from here, and that's where I grew up. And I was blessed to have both parents in the household, and they raised me and they taught me what work ethic looks like, okay? But growing up in the inner city, we also knew what the struggle looks like as well. The struggle is real. And it's especially hard when you look up the block and you see people that are doing the wrong things but getting all the results you wish you could have. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I went off to college I met individuals who were actually successful doing the right things that were able to pour into me that actually started to change my life. One of the things my mentor taught me is that, Carl, as your life changes, so will your circle. So I started surrounding myself with people who had my solutions rather than the ones who had my problems. The second thing he said to me was, Carl, what's your daily intake? What are you listening to? So I'm listening to hip-hop music. That's what I grew up on. That's what I like. But all the music that I was listening to was talking about sex, drugs, money, and violence. So everything in my world was surrounded by sex, drugs, money, and violence. It wasn't until I grew a close relationship with God, He allowed me to take the very thing that is negative and spun it to a positive. I recently wrote the first daily motivational book, all hip-hop and R&B quotes. All right? So it's motivation. So we're going to get into some of my favorite quotes from that book and the ones that impacted me the most, okay? Now, can anyone guess who my favorite rapper is? Biggie, Jay-Z.
Kanye West.
Kanye West? These are all good ones, but somebody said it already.
Kanye West, right?
Jay-Z. Jay-Z's my guy. Jay-Z says, I'm different. I'm different. I can't base what I'm going to be off of what everybody isn't. If you look around and there's no examples of hope, there's no examples of success, that means you need to be that example. I don't care if there's 1,000 people that tried and failed. That just means they ain't you and you ain't them. Because I hear all the time, well, no one in my family got married. The relationships don't work. Everyone's getting divorced. There's no one graduated from a university. No one I know is successful. What I have to say to that is, so what? That's right. I'm different. I can't base what I'm going to be off of what everybody isn't. Their failures do not define your success.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. They told Madam C.J. Walker that she would never amount to anything. That's right. First black millionaire. That's right. They told Bobby Johnson, nobody's going to watch black people on TV. Because of BET, he is a billionaire. Do you know how many people are going to look you dead in the face and tell you that you're never going to make it? You have two options. You either prove them right or you prove them wrong. So if they can look you in the face and tell you that you'll never make it, I can look you in the face and tell you that you can and that you will. Okay? Forget what they say, it's my time. Yes. Say that with me. Forget what they say, it's my time. More energy. Forget what they say, it's my time. Yeah. I felt like a rapper for like 2 seconds. All right. So, Tupac says, just because you're in the ghetto doesn't mean you can't grow. I don't care where you're from. You're not a product of your environment. Your environment is a product of you. Yes. So, see, individuals are. Let me go back to what I want to say. You're not a product of your environment. Your environment is a product of you. All the time, you're going to have individuals saying, well, you're never going to make it. You're from the hood or whatever the case may be. None of that matters. All you need to do is focus on getting just a little bit better today than you were yesterday. You got to read your books, you got to come to networking events like this, and you also got to be determined to succeed. Okay, but I hear the guys say, well, I'm in the hood. My response to that is, so what? Talib Kweli said, the flower that grows in the ghetto knows more about survival than the one of Fresh Meadows. Yes. Do you know how much survival tactics we pick up just from growing in the hood and not from the silver spoon?
Talk about it.
Okay, a lot of times we curse our very own blessings. I go to church. I hear people say all the time, Lord, just change my situation. Not knowing the Lord put you in that situation to change you. See, and I don't want you to look at me as if I'm perfect, because I've been literally through hell and back. Yes. You know, my dad's here, he can testify for me, right? I was a big follower growing up. I never sold dope, but I hung out with all the guys that did. All right? I wasn't an alcoholic, but I started to develop a drinking habit. When I had problems, I relied on the bottle more than I relied on my Bible. The plan was to drink until the pain's over, but what's worse, the pain or the hangover?
Who's that?
That's Kanye.
That's Kanye. Yeah.
I woke up with more problems and I still had a hangover. So that was not the solution that I was seeking. All right. So, and it was 3 different times that after a night of partying, I crashed my car. And by the grace of God, I'm still alive, and all of my friends are still alive. No one had any injuries or anything like that. Now, I say all of that to say this. If the truth is told, the youth can grow. A lot of times we make it through an embarrassing situation. We make it through, hello. A lot of times we make it through an embarrassing situation and we act like it never happened. Or even worse, we frown upon the person that is currently going through that situation. I call it that holier than thou syndrome. All right? Now, for me, it was a little bit different because I'm a very private person. I didn't want to tell them church folks my business. I didn't want the righteous people to know how ratchet I could get. But after a conversation with my dad, he said, Carl, don't be ashamed to tell your story. It will inspire others. If we hide from our truths, the younger generation are doomed to repeat the same mistakes that we made. Yes. All right, it's up to you as a big brother, as a big sister, or even as a parent to pull them on the right track. Y'all with me? Yes. All right, this is the last one. And I know the girls love Beyonce, right? The girls love Beyonce. Beyonce says, your self-worth is determined by you. You don't have to depend on someone else telling you who you are.
That's right.
Ladies, your value doesn't decrease based on someone else's inability to see your worth.
That's right.
Let me say that one more time. Your value doesn't decrease based on someone else's inability to see your worth. You're brilliant, you're gorgeous, you're talented, you're fabulous. Never let anyone tell you other than that. All right? Now, last thing I wanted to mention before I go. In the Olympics, they have an event called the high jump. Stay with me. In the high jump, the officials set the bar. The contestant cannot tell the official, hey, that bar is too high, you need to lower it for me. They can't do that. It's the contestant's job to jump above the bar. If the contestant cannot clear the bar, he's disqualified. Ladies, never let a man tell you to lower your standards. Never let a man degrade you or lower your self-worth. If that man can't clear that bar, he's in the wrong sport. This is the high jump. This ain't the limbo. All right, that's all I got for you. Yes, right here, godschildproduction.net/store. All right, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, once again, thank you, Tiffany, for having me here. And my name is the young executive, Carl Michelle. And if no one's told you today, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
What is the foundation of a healthy regimen?
Well, when I think of a healthy regimen, I don't think of it only as nutrition or fitness. For me, it is nourishing the mind, body, and the spirit. Because for me, when those three areas are out of balance, you'll see that you'll notice imbalances in every other area of your life. So for me, it's you have to nourish those different areas in order to really to be whole and fulfilled.
My next question is for you. You provide holistic healing services. Can you explain the elements of that service and how it can restore health?
Well, when you deal with holistic remedies, it deals with basically everything that's natural. And the whole key to that, for it to work, because a lot of people try to, let's say they have an ailment and they want to try to do things naturally, but you have to clean out your body first in order for it to work. And a lot of people don't understand that process of cleaning out your body. So for that to work, you have to change how you eat. You have to detoxify your body. And a lot of times people, I notice that especially our people, African American people, we have a tendency of eating a lot of meat. A lot of meat. And we don't understand the process of the meat when it stays in your system for such a long period of time, how it affects your mood, how it affects everything about you, including your health. So in reference to holistic, what that does is it starts to cleanse your body out naturally, as opposed to you using pharmaceutical grade ingredients.
So this next question is actually for both of you. We've all heard the saying, you are what you eat. And most people know the effects of eating unhealthy. Obesity, diabetes, and we can go on with a whole list of things. So, however, a few people don't know how a poor diet can affect a person's mindset, their personality, their attitude. So, what would you say to a person if they wanted to become more positive, more proactive? What type of diet would you recommend for them?
Well, when you want to have a good mood and a clear mental mindset, you have to eat the things that are from the ground. You have to make sure that you're eating more fruits and vegetables and that you're picking the right sort of, even complex carbohydrates. You want to go for the whole grains. You want to dish the processed crap like the white bread and the rice, because those are the things that elevate your blood sugar levels. That's what makes you feel happy for 2 seconds and then you crash. And then that's when your mood changes and you're depressed. 1 minute you're happy, the next minute you're sad, the next minute you're down. So you have to eat foods that keep your blood sugar level stable. So you want to eat the foods with the fiber. Those are the things that you need to make sure that you're well, in your mind and even in your body. Because when you're eating those other foods, the body wasn't designed to break down those things. And when those foods that you're eating, like the stuff in, the packages, the things that's created in the factory, those are the things that's creating all of the chemical imbalances. Those are the things that affect your hormones, and those are the things that cause all of the reactions in your body.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
The billions means that I want to meet a billion people.
Oh, okay.
And they call me the $1 billion voice because I'm on the radio and I have this voice that drags people in. Who are you to meet yourself with you? And I took that name from 2013 and I ran with it. And everybody calls me Blondie Billions because I always say billions because the magazine that I own is called Billionaire Entertainment Magazine.
So in terms of branding yourself, first and foremost, I think that you have to really look and analyze what it is that you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, and who it is you are trying to affect. I think a lot of people today are so caught up with the glitz and the glory and wanting the spotlight that they are not necessarily taking the time to figure out what that spotlight should be about.
Every last one, from Facebook to Instagram to everything. Own your name, create a logo, make sure they get incorporated, and make sure that you always stay on your social media sites, them update them with pictures, let them know what you're doing. Always brand yourself at the same time, because it's really two of the same things. All right?
Now I'm ready to get out there and let the world know what I am doing. When is it a good time to get a PR rep? Because I know you're going to like it.
Right away. You see this function that Tiffany just put up? By the way, let's give Tiffany a round of applause again. And that's actually how me and Tiffany met, through PR at Justin's, right? Way before then. But it's very important for you to get a PR person, because you need a PR person to create your events. You need a PR person to create press. You need a PR person to bring media to you. So you have to do that immediately, okay? Just plain simple.
Having me here today, I just want to really give a shout out to Tiffany for working on such a fabulous event and bringing so many great people together. I have a lot of stuff in my head that I just heard that was like real good stuff. I'm like, y'all need to be on a panel somewhere else, and I'm going to call and get y'all's numbers, because it was really good things that I heard, and I hope people really take the information. Because father was murdered, it became something that I owned, because I was looking for a place and somewhere to place what I was feeling. And, I had found through the movement that it was probably the place that would give me the most perspective. But the truth of it is that I found out through my struggle that there were so many other women who have been through the same thing. I wound up even paying attention to family stories. I knew that family members had lost their children's fathers, but I never connected it that we were pretty much the same age, and that most of the women that came from the community that I came from, I was born and raised in Harlem, then moved to Co-op City, and so many young women my age had lost their children's father at the same age. So I realized that that was like just our reality, that either he was going to be locked up or dead, and you were going to be a single mom. And I just decided that that wasn't okay with me, and that I wanted to do something and get more involved in the movement, and just to move quickly through this. But it's a deep question you asked.
I know.
Why? I then began to understand, because people kept saying to me, well, what was he doing? And I was like, yeah, he was selling drugs. That's the reality. And the people who he was selling drugs with killed him. And then I started trying to understand, like, I know him, like he was a good dude, and I know that. And then it dawned on me that it wasn't his fault. And as I began to dig deeper into what that meant, I started to understand that the oppressive situation that our people are in this country and in this world creates conditions where black men are in the situations that they're in. They're dealing drugs, they're uneducated, they wind up in, the mass incarceration clearly is our issue. And I understand that all of it was connected. So gun violence is not, when people try to tell you, well, y'all are so mad about black on black violence, that's called derivative crimes. We're killing each other because we live in environments that we basically are like animals. And therefore, our situation is pretty much derivatives of what you see happening on the set.
I'm the first person on the track. I switched up the beat of the drum. Last night, I'm a chick just brings the stick. I told you it's time to switch the beat. I'm back better than no way, cause I'm back.
Yes, so what the whole Activate movement is about, and the reason why I started activating, is based off of my own frustration of procrastination. How many of us are procrastinators? How many of us self-sabotage? How many of us we have so many ideas that we never pursue them? How many of us are about 3 years overdue on some things? About 5 years overdue? Maybe even 10 years overdue. Come on, be honest. Wave the 10s in the air. But it's serious. Your business, your process, your purpose, you have to be the first investor. You have to be the first believer. You have to be the first receiver of this whole thing, because nobody's going to show up when it's time for you to hit the road.
closer. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Let me tell you that you're beautiful. Tell you that you're beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Tell you that you're beautiful. Tell you that you're beautiful.
Yeah. Why don't you ever believe it? With eyes so beautiful, why can't you conceive it? I know you've been down a tough road, I mean, we all have, but whenever I see a smile, it brightens our path, yeah. See, let me lead the way. Let me make sure the compliments will always come your way. Don't you be afraid, and with every insecurity, I will be your band-aid. Can I be in your corner, respect you, and show you your honor? My arms are made to protect you. This heart will never neglect you. I don't care what your ex did, I plan to show you what the best is. To make love, we don't have to be naked, and the closer you come, the closer I get to heaven, baby.
Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Come a little